On today's episode, we're answering the question, no, we're not, because I'm on the wrong damn outline. All right, so I'm not a big fan of the word hack because I don't feel that it's like, I don't know, the word hack, let me just soapbox for a second, is so overused, right? This marketing hack, this life hack, whatever. But as we just discussed, I am not the best at organizing everything in my life. I have some things that I can be very organized with and some things that I'm not. The one thing that you and I actually have recently started to do that I'm kind of in love with is a table of contents spreadsheet for those unwieldy folders where multiple people need to be able to find and access things. And this works really well in Google Docs or Google Drive. You create a spreadsheet, you have the name, you have whatever notes you need, and then a link to it. And so you just kind of list everything. It's basically a list of what is in all of the folders because we use folders and subfolders and things like that. And you might not remember where things are. But now if you remember the name or if you have a notes like what it's used for, you can search that and find what you're looking for. The linking of files in Google is the biggest lifesaver because I can link from one file to another and say, go reference this, go reference that.
Especially since you're able to search in Google, and guess who can't? For some whatever reason,
yeah, I know.
I have some sort of my Google hates me or something, and I can't search. Like Allison types in podcast episode outline, and the doc that we write in for our podcast comes up. I type it, and I get a mishmash of crap. So having the table of contents and the links is great. My organizational tool or hack is really old school. It is a really lovely, cheap dollar store journal or workbook, especially if it has a ring, like the rings, because I'm left-handed, you guys. So just a regular journal or something, when you open it up, it's really hard for lefties to write in it, super hard.
So spiral bound only, baby.
Thank you. Spiral bound. Spiral bound is the only way you can go when you're left-handed. If not, well, maybe some can do it, but if you're not, like you're always writing on some sort of a ledge, trust me, it's really not comfy. But I have to use my paper lists, and that's one of my biggest organizational hacks because it's where my brain processes. I process from written and I remember from written versus typing. And I'm not sure that there's got to be some sort of proper terminology for that. And I'm sure somebody could provide that for us, but that's how I comprehend information.
I am the same way. I'm the same way. I have notebooks and legal pads and Post-it notes everywhere. And then, that's how I remember stuff. All right, Jenny. What is your favorite time-saving tip?
I've been, oh man, I knew you were going to, I don't know. So probably my favorite time-saving, oh yeah. A really great time-saving tip that I use is really trying to reduce the amount of time spent on repetitive tasks. So a time-saving tip for me, and I know it's not like it's not like a product or a software I can give you, but it's time on repetitive tasks. So it's automation. Anything that can be automated, anything that the steps were, we can reduce the amount of steps. Anything where if it has to be done 5 times and you're going to do it 5 times, then I want a template or I want something that's going to reduce the repetitiveness, because that repetitiveness makes me bonkers. So that's I hope that qualifies as a time-saving tip.
It does. Automation is a huge time-saving tip. And there are automations that you don't even think of. In fact, we just implemented one today where I used Zapier, which is an automation helper connector software, to email us when we get new guest requests for the podcast. So we don't have to open the document and check. We can kind of review right from our inbox. And that sounds like a really simple time-saving tip, but think about especially with Jenny who can't search. She's got to navigate to the folder. She's got to open it. She's got to remember that that tab is open. She's got to create the time to sit down and go through the guests. Instead, now an email comes to both of us. Whoever sees it first can say yes or no, forward it to the other one and say yes or no. And now we can begin to organize our guests in that way rather than having to remember and set aside time and do it all at once. It can now be one of those 5-second situations, touch it once type of thing. So, yes, automation, big deal. My favorite time saving tip is, and I have talked about this a lot this year, is my VA. She's amazing. I just love her. She has tasks that she does automatically. She has tasks that I would never have gotten to because I just didn't have time. And if it's something that you can afford in your business, even if it's 5 hours a week, guys, really consider what that could do for you to have that outside help come in, because she's not full time for me, not yet. I have her for about 15 hours a week. But even that part time has completely reduced the mental load on me. I don't have to think about a lot. And it allows me to think big because I'm like, what else can I have her do? I'm anxious to increase her hours. I want to. So I've got to build things in my business to give her work. Cool. That's my biggest time saving tip. You're a dick. Seriously.